Well, hello everybody. This is Dr. Troy Duke with the Commit and Go podcast, where we encourage you to make big commitments, take big action, and create big-ass results in your life and business. Today's topic is this: sushi and a hit and run. So this is literally almost 24 hours from this recording, actually, that last night I had the joy of Watson and I took off and we went to pick up sushi for dinner. Now that's about a 20-minute drive from our home. And so we hopped in the car and we just took off to go get some sushi. And while so it's an interstate type drive, and we get off the interstate and there's a couple of stoplights and then boom, we're at the restaurant. Well, we're sitting at one of the stoplights and I look up and I see a car swerving across the road on the other side. So it's ongoing traffic towards me. And I proceed, but I don't really accelerate too fast because I want to see what's going on and I don't want to get in an accident. And so I'm watching what this person is doing, and they cut across the road, if you could imagine, going to a turn lane so they could cut through traffic to go through the intersection, which they did not have a green light, to go through the intersection and keep driving recklessly. Well, as I see this taking place, I try to get a good look at what's going on with the car, and the hood of the car was flipped backwards. And if you can imagine the hood of your car right now being flipped backwards, you'll also note that there is a gap at the bottom of your hood that you could actually see through to drive, and that's what this gentleman was doing. And so I look up in my rearview mirror, in my side mirror, and I'm looking back to see where this guy is going because I gotta take some action here. I gotta call 911. So we pull into the restaurant, I grab my phone and I start to dial 911, and I get on and I have a conversation with the dispatcher telling her what's just taken place, where I believe this person could be going. There's two options, let her know the roads, and then all of a sudden she pulls another dispatcher on. What we would find out is that there was actually a hit and run that had taken place, and they believe that the car that I'm calling about is the car that was in the hit and run. So we continue with the conversation. She goes ahead and takes my name, my phone number, we get off the phone. Now, this is a moment that I can't just grab my son and say, let's go into the restaurant. I have to turn around and I have to look at my 5-year-old and see if he has any questions. And I want to talk to him about this because it's a great learning opportunity. And he looks at me and says, what's a hit and run? And so we talk about a hit and run. He says, well, that's really bad, Daddy. Why would somebody do that? And I said, I have no idea why they would do it. Maybe they thought they were getting in trouble. Maybe they didn't have insurance. I don't know. But for whatever reason, it was wrong to do, wasn't it, buddy? He said, yeah, that's wrong. That seems like a really bad thing to do. And so we had this conversation about that. And then we talked about, though, like what to do. And I said, what would you do? So you know this person did it and they took off. What do you think you should do? He said, well, you should call the police because what that person did was very bad. And I said, and that's what Daddy just did. He knows what 911 is, but I've got to have this chance now to talk to him about, and that's what Daddy did. I called 911. And we would continue the conversation because some people wouldn't do anything. Do you think that's a good thing? He said, well, no, how could you stop the man? Right? So we're talking about responsibility. We're talking about leadership. We're able to use something that just happened to us right before our eyes. It just happened. We are able to use this as a lesson right now about leadership and about responsibility. And so he agrees with everything. He's even answering the questions so that I even know, like, this is cool. Like, my kid would do exactly what we're talking about right now, even though prior to that, he would not have known what to do. Now he even knows what to do. So I bring this to you in terms of our own lives, and it got me to thinking of a couple things. First of all, this is leadership. This is one of the traits of a leader, ladies and gentlemen. A leader does things that need to be done. They don't point fingers. They don't hope somebody else is going to take care of it. A leader just steps up and does the work that needs to be done. Because it sounds like when I got on the phone, I was the first person to have called. Now, I've called 911 before, and they've said, thank you so much, sir. We've had 15 other calls so far, or we've already had these calls. Thank you. At this point in time, there were no other calls. They had the hit and run that they knew about, and they had me calling. The thing is there was 10 people standing on the road watching the guy. And they did nothing. No phones were out, unless maybe they were trying to record it. But they did nothing. I made the phone call. Now, I don't say this to impress you or blow out my ego. I say this to impress upon you the importance of stepping up, the importance of doing what needs to get done. I did that out of fear that he might hurt someone else. So as a leader, I say what I do right here and right now could avoid something bad happening later on tonight, later on this afternoon, whenever. I don't know when. But the mere ability for me to pick up a phone and just take the action, to pick up the phone and give information that could possibly help to save someone else from getting hurt. That's leadership. And we can sit and talk about all kinds of different traits and characteristics, but this is one of those qualities of leadership. It's the difference between who's to blame and what's to be done. That is the difference right here, folks. When you look at leaders and a person who takes responsibility, because leaders take responsibility, it is the difference between who's to blame and what's to be done. And most people in this world sit there and want to point fingers. Well, it's not my fault. Well, I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do here now. It's too late. And a leader says, they ask a different question. They say, what can be done here? And if there's something I can do, I will do it. And I'll never forget, as I take you back a few years, I was at a program and I talked about this very thing, this art of responsibility and leadership. It's from a book called The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem by Nathaniel Branden. Can't recommend it highly enough. And I'm talking about this and I'm sharing this in a program. And 3 days later, I'm at the airport. While I'm at the airport, there's probably 50 to 60 other participants from our program who were there. We're all waiting for flights. And there's a woman who gets like a bottle of, I don't know, like some tea or something. And when she bought this tea, she dropped the bottle on the floor and it shattered everywhere. And not one person moved. She's trying to get her stuff together. She grabs some napkins, starts to wipe things up. And I walk over and I start to help her by picking up pieces of glass and everything that I can do to help, because I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want her to get hurt and I don't want anybody else to get hurt. Out of all the people who were standing there, not just the participants from the program, but other people at the airport, no one moved. And for me, it was instinctive. I just walked up and I was like, I'm just going to help. It's just what I do. And yet everybody stood there to watch. Again, I don't say this to impress you, but to impress upon you the importance of leaders, because leaders say, what's to be done here? How can I help? How can I make a difference here? Because somebody could have walked by, slipped, and got cut on a piece of glass. And so what I did is I stepped in to help. What I did is I did what I could to make a difference there, so that nobody else would have to suffer a consequence of everyone else just sitting there. So the question becomes this: when you look across your life, when you look at body, being, balance, business, where in your life are you pointing the finger? Where in your life do you need to take more responsibility and step up and be a leader? There's some area of your life right now that you know that you're pointing fingers or you're sitting on the sidelines and you know you're not playing at the leader position that you need to be playing. And so you're pointing fingers at what everybody else is doing wrong, when in actuality you just need to step up. And equally as important here is, I would say, take a look on the other side. Where are you stepping up? And how does it feel to be stepping up in those areas? And where else can you do this level of leadership in your life? Folks, you never know. Like, as I shared this scenario we're talking about right here, I mean, this is a serious scenario where if I don't do anything, who knows, maybe somebody could get hurt. And I don't know. I don't know if somebody did or not. I have no idea. I've looked it up. I can't find it anywhere on Google or anywhere. I don't know. But I do know that I would rather do something that I know can make a difference than do nothing and wonder. I still go about living my life. You'll still go about living yours. But at least I know I did what needed to be done. So take a look at your life right now. Where is it in your life? And that's a more serious scenario. I share the one with the airport and picking up the glass. I mean, there's things in your business right now where you're like walking by, there's a piece of paper on the floor and you walk by because you're going, oh, my staff needs to pick that up. And you're just walking by and letting it go, as opposed to just picking it up. Just pick it up, man. Just be a leader. Pick it up and then maybe talk about it later and just say, I noticed that everybody in this office walked by that piece of paper. When I walked by, I picked it up and threw it away. What's it going to take for y'all to have more pride in this business? What do we need to do to step it up a level in our leadership and taking responsibility for things in this office? But don't just walk by it. Don't just leave it there. Be a leader and then talk about it. Be a leader and help your people to step up even more. Be a leader and guide yourself. At the end of the day, if you can't lead yourself, you can't lead anyone. So take a look at yourself first, then take a look at your relationships, then take a look at your business. That's all I've got for you here today, folks. Hey, if you haven't already, you know what I'm going to ask you to do. Head on over to iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, and please hit subscribe, and also rate and or review this podcast. And if you haven't already, head on over to commitandgo.com, where you can get the free time mastery program that's going to help you to take more responsibility. I got to bring it back around. More responsibility in your scheduling on a day-to-day basis to get rid of those energy drainers so that you can ensure yourself that you're getting to where it is that you want to go and hitting your targets and goals. That's all I've got for you here today. I am Dr. Troy Dukowitz. This has been the Commit and Go podcast, where we encourage you to make big commitments, take big action, and create big-ass results in your life and business. We'll hear you next time.